3, 2, and 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Friday, December the 8th, the second day of Hanukkah. To the 3 Jewish people who are following me. Hope you're having a wonderful festive holiday so far. I don't have a plan for today's stream. I'm just going to kick it off and see where it goes. Right? Chat is up. Oh, this time I'm actually going to open the YouTube. I totally ignored you guys yesterday. But today, being Friday, I will not. Vertice. Good morning. Well, I usually kick off at 9:30, so I guess I'm running late today, right? Okay, that is up. You are on. There we go. I'm getting the hang of the streaming shtick. Stupid streaming. Blazer! And your 1 morning bit, thank you very much. Appreciated as always. Scott Strum 07. Welcome. Good to have you. Doc, good morning. What do other streamers do? Like, I see people that stream every day. Do they have a schedule? What do they actually do with their everyday streams? Paul, good morning. Robot, are we going over the Arrestra again? No, I was just on RSI. They had the Q&A, the official Q&A yesterday. I did a video on that. I was just looking it over again. It's nice. I want them to make a military variant of this. I want this to be a military ship, right? Garrick, hello. Good morning. Popular topic for today is the day before. Oh, yeah. What was the story with that? I saw, who was like Big Fry? This guy was hyping the game up. No. All right, so he's just a content creator. I don't know how I landed on him, following him, but he was hyping up this game. The day before, sent me a key before launch. After playing today, I don't really think I was the target demographic for YouTubers. Still processing today. If I'm being honest, it melted down faster than I expected. Let's go back. Because, I mean, I saw him tweet about it occasionally, saying how it's going to be huge, how it's going to be amazing. And what was the story? It didn't turn out to be the game that they wanted it to be. It's not an MMO, it's an extraction shooter. Right. Oren Hawk. Morning. How you doing? Sungaze07. Good morning. Jeff, good morning. How you doing? You know what? I guess maybe this will be a good kickoff. We're going to dig into the day before drama. The only thing I followed about this was this one guy I know that keeps on saying how it was going to be great. And it turns out that it's not. Or they misrepresented the game. I guess we'll find out the story now. It's an extraction shooter which they claimed it wouldn't be, but people are enraged over the game having bugs not being finished because I believe it's early release at this point. So once again, is it an issue of a game dev trying and simply not communicating correctly, or people assuming because it's playable, it must be in a better state? Is that what happened? It seemed like a scam. Smoke clouds. Hello. So I can't say I've followed the history of this game too much, other than this guy basically saying, oh, it's going to be great, it's going to be wonderful, and it's not it. It's not it. It's not it. Insurgency. The day before might be launching tomorrow. Okay, this is where he starts going, this is going to be awesome. Then he was streaming it. The day before is launching in less than 24 hours. Is it good? Is it real? Let's find out live. I have a couple of keys to give away in chat, as well as some merch dropping tomorrow. Tomorrow will be legendary. So this is as much as I knew about it. Okay. Who remembers people said Star Citizen is a scam? We still stay, Vertice, we're still saying Star Citizen is a scam. It is a scam. We're being scammed. They're releasing new ships, which are scamming us. And then patch 322 is a gigantic scam. 323 or 4.0 will be a scam. And when 50 systems come out and when Squadron 42 comes out, that's a scam. They're scamming us into like decades here. Gigantic scams everywhere. At this point, we're just in it. So this is all I understood about it so far, is that this guy here was excited for tomorrow be legendary. And I guess the day was not that legendary. My current mindset is this: get in the game, look at everything, judge what I see. I've said since day one that I want this game to be what they say it is. Tomorrow, okay. So barring any issues, the day before we'll launch in about an hour. I'll be live top an hour. Okay, so he got early key. He got early access from this company. I'm assuming he has a relationship with the company that put this out, right? Grim Hex, how you doing? Good morning. Just once, I do wish we had a game that brought people together like this. His launch day video. I owe Big Fry TV a huge apology for trying to defend the day before. But this is before it came out. Okay, who's got a review about this? I need to understand the drama of the story. Community. Day before got community noted. The game was falsely advertised for years as an MMO survival game, and it's an extraction shooter. The game's Steam page, as linked in the original post, states this. Okay. Oh, he's being critical of it? Oh, I thought he was a fan of it. All right. But he got early keys. I'm assuming he was having some sort of relationship with the devs that he got access to it early. Anyway, the day before, send me keys before launch. After playing today, I really don't think I was their target demographic for YouTubers. I'm still processing how today went, to be honest. It melted down faster than ever I expected. Huge red flags for a day before game, just before displayed in front of your eyes for years. Even Big Fry and others were pointing out the obvious and BS. Now they bought the game, are surprised how bad it is. All right. Being a Star Citizen backer, we understand early access. The devs abandoned all the past games, are finishing them. Okay, that's probably bad. The game has potential, but the devs definitely misrepresent the game as it now. So it's not an MMO? Is that what happened? I guess I can click on his video.
So if we learned one thing about today, it's that the day before is real. Real fucking bad. So I don't even know where to start with this. But I was able to play the day before for the first time, and I regret every second of it. But I just have to start by saying that the launch of the day before kind of went exactly how I thought it was going to go. The fact that their Discord has been completely locked down. You can no longer join it. You can't type anything. If you are in there, they have locked down all of the...
Okay, that sounds bad. they locked down, the devs locked down their own Discord. Probably not a good sign. But I'm curious to know if this is an issue of another early release and people freaking out that the early release was not that good. Death Factor, what's up? They should rename it to the morning after. Probably. Oh, Vertice, did you back this game?
channels, overwhelmingly negative reviews on Steam with over 3,000 reviews at the time of recording it, and it is only going up. The fact that this was touted as a genre-defining, revolutionary survival MMO. When you hop into game for the first time, you're greeted by the tutorial, you're talking to...
All right, so as I understand it, this is supposed to be a survival MMO, and it turns out to be an extraction shooter. Those are very different things. So how'd they manage to get that much, of course? Or is it because of the early access part, they haven't just got into the MMO part of it? Honestly, I haven't spent too much time into this. It's not a game that I'm interested in. But you know what? Like a zombie open world MMO thing, I would probably be interested. But that's not it, right? That's not what they did.
All the people around Woodbury, and then when you go out into the world for the first time, you realize just how empty and barren this world is. Now, there's a lot of cars and a lot of things to loot, a few stores you can go into.
Well, I mean, I don't know the story, but if it's early access, then the game is incomplete. And if the game is incomplete, was that made clear? Are people expecting a more complete MMO at this point? Is it people just expecting too much? Vertice, is that what happened? Yeah, boy, I played several hours of it. Needs more work. It's not an MMO. 32 players per map. Extraction shooter. Well, I mean, again, if they advertise as an MMO with the M meaning massive multiplayer, and they're limited to 32 people, then that's probably false advertising on their behalf. Because I guess how would you define the M part of the MMO? At least 100 minimum? What's the bare minimum you would consider an MMO? Hasn't hit 10-year development cycle yet. Yeah. Let me know when they hit 10 years, yeah. The map is too small. No vault climb mechanics. Okay, it's possible it's part of the game design itself. Zombies are weak, easy to avoid. AI is bad, alright? Not enough zombies. Vast majority of buildings you can't even enter. Lots of work to do still. Okay. So it's possible it's just limitations of the engine, right? Misdirected, not massive, yeah. Well, okay, interesting story. My initial reaction when I see early release is people overreact because early release is not ready. So if the AI is bad, if mechanics like vaulting over things not in, maybe it's not in yet for a reason. If the maps are small, maybe they've got engine limitations. If they can only fit 32 people on a map, maybe again, networking issues. What engine are they using for this? I'm not making excuses for them, but I'm just saying early release is early release for a reason. But if these are unsolvable issues, and if the game has been misrepresented, then yes, bad. But anyway, people overreacting, not considered early access. Well, look, I always give benefit of the doubt that the devs, if it's something they've advertised and been working on for years, are trying to produce what they said. Now, if they have misdirected in the fact that they said this is not going to be an MMO, but simply, we've taken a 32-person map and saying now this is our MMO, then they need to clarify exactly what they mean. 1,000 players bare minimum for an MMO. Yeah, so I don't know what engine they're using for this, but is the game engine even capable of doing that, is the question. But we're going to jump into some Star Citizen now. Thank you for that distraction. That was good. I'll look more at this later. I'm curious to know exactly what the story is. We're going to check out the Inside Star Citizen Salvage operation, which came out yesterday. Haven't watched it yet. I thought I'd sit down with you guys this morning and take a look over it with you and complain about how horrible things are in Star Citizen. Early access, early release. Right.
So what happened since the last time we talked about Salvage?
Thorsten. This guy looks like a Thorsten. The name matches. I like devs whose name matches their image.
So the last time we talked about it, it was about the prototypes that we were doing with the entities spawned from the entire piece, so the thousands and thousands of entities.
We had to reconsider our approach quite a lot because it was apparent from the prototype that several aspects of it weren't really going to work the way we wanted to.
With the demo failing, or basically showing us the limits of our engine, which was...
Yeah, I don't need to see the stats to tell me that when you spawn in a million entities like that, it's probably going to put a strain on it, right? The day before needs more Nicole, then it'll be AAA. Absolutely. Malcari, good morning. How you doing? Yeah, we'll do Nicole. Actually, let's watch this. Once we're done this episode here, we'll do some Nicole with her very insightful talk about influencing. But we'll get there in a second. In exactly 12 minutes.
The entity count by showcasing that it takes a really long time to spawn all the entities that would fit the size of an 890 jump.
We also had to reconsider some things because we wanted to get this in players' hands as soon as possible. So that means making a few adjustments to the scope.
We were asked to come up with a solution by end of this year, which is structural salvage.
Does the Vulture have that electric thing going on it? Does this exist right now? I haven't seen that.
Structural salvage.
Is that in the game? I don't know. I don't own a Vulture. Does the Vulture do that? It does? Okay, that's cool. If you buy into early access game, you need to be... Smoke Cloud, exactly right. That's why I'm saying, having Backstar Citizen, when I see people criticizing the day before, like I didn't see where it is, but I'm saying, are these issues because it's early access, or are these issues because the game is just going to be that bad, right? When people get early access or alpha access, they assume the game is in a very playable state, which it might not be. More often than not.
Structural salvage is breaking apart various ships in order to break down the pieces into construction material, which then you can sell. So it's just removing stuff from the persistent database.
So one of the challenges of developing a live game like Star Citizen is that we have to constantly be weighing up trying to perfect a feature, which could take years, or trying to get something playable in players' hands so that we can start getting feedback from it and learning from it and figuring out how it fits in with the rest of the game.
That was a very important sentence you said there. That sometimes it can take years to perfect a feature, but they also have to rush things out to get into player hands to get the feedback on it. And this is the part which you and I, early backers of the game, who we pay to test the game, got that backwards because they should be paying us, right? Star Citizen is fascinating in the sense that they got a whole bunch of people to pay money to be free QA. I think you guys, we need to form a union. I think you and I need to form a union and start demanding that CIG pay us our wages for testing their game. But one of the huge benefits that CIG has from their system here is they spit out this patch, like EPTU. We go in, we test it for free because we enjoy this, and we file reports, right? It's amazing what they got from us. You guys saw when I was doing Salvage, and we're in the Reclaimer, and the cockpit was whited out. There's like a whiteout because of the light or something. I was with Chrome Ninja, and Chrome Ninja goes, I'm going to file a report. Went in, filed the report, goes, we're sitting this, the lights are on, the cockpit's obscured. Sent the report in. Typically, games need to pay for that kind of service, but we do it for free. So right now, guys, we're forming a union, all right? CIG needs to pay us 1 Aurora a day. My going rate, an Aurora per day. I think it's fair for the work we do.
It was very important for us that we get some version of it out this year. It's not the full version yet, but it's a good first step that allows us to test the feature and close the ships that we already have, that are the Vulture and the Reclaimer.
I saw some people on Spectrum actually complaining that the claw had changed, and they had bought the ship because of the claw. Obviously, the selling feature was this gigantic claw, and they had dreams in their heads of how they would fly in space and grab these ships and clamp them and use the claw. And now that the claw is gone, the dreams are ruined, and therefore this game is ruined, and now it's the worst thing that's happened to them since what's the most recent bad thing? But yeah, like, get over it, man. Like, seriously, this game is in constant change. The claw, I knew. Well, did you guys actually think at any point in time you'd be able to go use the claw and grab things? You've seen how janky things are in this game. There's no point in time I'm thinking I'm actually going to grab a ship and be able to use a claw. I thought it was a nice idea, but in understanding how this game engine works, there's no way in hell that you would go grab a floating chunk of metal and pull it in and work it that way. I didn't think so. I mean, if they did pull it off, I'd be impressed. But this makes way more sense to me, what they did here.
The new Vulture gameplay builds on what we already have. The idea is that you'll approach a wreck.
We want to encourage you to use the hull scraping first, so you don't lose the RMC in the process.
But we're supposed to scrape the hull? I just went and straight up just grabbed the ship.
Which is higher value per SEU than construction materials. So the Vulture is equipped with a resonance field, which allows you to charge up energy on the target. Assuming that it's still in one piece, if you've not already blown it up with guns or missiles or something, you'll have to fracture it first.
A fracture field is built up between the arms, but it's also projected outwards.
Which will break it down into various parts.
We wanted to make sure that...
Okay, I guess I have a question about the Vulture. The two projecting things there, those are the hull scrapers, right? The hull scrapers have different variants, like mining heads, correct? Now, is there a... Right. So you can choose between faster or wider fields? Is that the loop over there? Alex Jones might come back to X. What? Is Alex Jones still around? Edgewise, we'll have to dig into that.
The resonance field wasn't going to create opportunities for griefing, so we've taken the precautions a step further from hull scraping, which requires that the target's shields are off, to structural salvage requiring that the ship's power is entirely off. So it'll be quite hard to use that offensively unless you find a way to disable the target's power plant.
All right, that was actually a question I had. So as long as your ship is powered and shields, or even if your shields are down, if it's still powered up, no one can come along and munch it. All right.
And then you switch to the disintegration mode, which then disintegrates those parts and draws them into your salvage ship as construction material.
Then into the grinder, and then...
I'm not opposed to this. I like the way it looks right now. Right. This is what is in the EPTU, right? Yeah.
Into the internal storage, and from there you can then move it out through the filler station into the cargo grid.
The internal storage is one of the great additions we've made here.
What that is basically a temporary storage between you gathering the material and you putting the material into cargo boxes.
You have more space inside of your ship, so when you now go back to the filler stations, instead of the material just being stored in the filler station, you now draw from this pool of internal storage.
That is...
Where is Alex Jones broadcasting now? His show is not on YouTube, right? It's on... Did he move to Rumble? Is he still going? Because I know he was sued to hell from the Sandy Hook parents, right?
Slightly bigger than the actual cargo capacity of the Vulture and the Reclaimer, so you can basically fill up your ship first. While it is still filling, while it is partly full, or when it is full, you have someone else or yourself go down to the filler station and basically convert everything or all the resources that you have inside the internal storage into the cargo boxes. The boxes come out automatically, so they deplete the internal storage, and you will be able to move those boxes around on the cargo grid.
Which does really help with the player experience of the Vulture. A lot of people were saying was problematic because there was a lot of getting up from the seat, going back, and then going back to the pilot's seat again. So this is an improvement there.
Right,
Once you've saying was problematic because there was a lot of getting
storage, and you will be able to move those boxes around on the cargo grid.
which does really help with the player experience of the Vulture. A lot of people were saying was problematic because...
What is problematic? I don't understand what he's saying. The boxes come out, then you move them on the cargo grid. Was that not done before? What's changed there?
There was a lot of getting up from the seat, going back, and then going back to the pilot seat again. So this is an improvement there. Once you've essentially got all of the stuff out of the filler stations, you'll be able to...
There was no internal storage. What do you mean there wasn't internal? Of course there was. Or was it the cargo grid wasn't snapping? Because I was pretty sure it always had the cargo grid snap, unless I was wrong. If you solo, you have to run down every time a box is full to move it. Right. But how's that changed? That's what they're saying right now. You still have to go move the box. The box doesn't automatically store itself. Problem, we had to repeatedly get out the seat every 2 boxes. Now you can fill up a buffer. Explain? It queues up. Oh, so before you could only, once they had enough buffer for 1 box, you had to go produce 1 box. But now you can produce up to 12. Oh, okay. Buffer. Thank you, Soul Stalker. At least someone can explain shit to me. Yes. Okay. So you can have up to 12 boxes worth of material and then simply go and produce the 12 boxes. Right? So you don't have to get up for every single box. All right, sweet. Okay, that is a good change. I like that a lot. English is hard, yes. Well, English is a tough language, man. I'm always so impressed with Europeans who speak like 5 or 6 languages, and English is one of them. My old neighbors were Brazilian, and watching the husband was fine. He was pretty good with English, but the wife was basically learning English from scratch, and watching her go through the process of going to English classes and learning the rules and then all the exceptions to the rules. And she's asking questions of why certain words are this way and that way. And it's just like, wow, English is tough. What a tough language. Those boxes materialize from magic. They do, yes. In fact, there's always magic. And Soulstalker, his first ever comment in this chat, being vital in good information too. Don't know about you guys. Try Polish. Is Polish bad too? Yeah, there's some unique languages in Europe. I don't know Polish, but Hungarian is also a very unique language. Romanian, well, Romanian's kind of close to Latin roots. And Italian. But Hungarian is unique in its own way. It's Hungarian language tree. Old world languages, yeah. Oh, we're off now. Let's see. Everything has its Indo-European roots. Now, European languages, Germanic languages, Romance languages, where the Slavic languages went off to Polish, Slovak, Russian, Ukrainian, Belarusian. And where is Hungarian on this? Germanic, Hellenic, Armenian branched off. West Germanic, Afrikaans, Dutch, and Flemish. Oh, that's right. Flemish is also kind of close in there too. Yeah. Japanese? I mean, Japanese, yeah. I mean, Japanese is a lot of variety in Japanese. The way you speak to elders versus speaking to young people, a completely different language almost. Why am I blind? Where the hell is Hungarian on this tree? Why am I not seeing this? Celtic, Albanian, Bulgarian, Romanian branched off before Spanish. Huh. Oh, here we go. Oh, it's blocked. That's why. Hang on. Oh, my camera's blocking it. Camera. There we go. I was wondering where the hell Hungarian is because it's an interesting language there, but it's not part of the Indo-European tree, right? European languages split off. You'll recognize these: the Germanic, the Romance languages, Slavic languages, Baltic languages. But Uralic languages split off. You have Finnish and Hungarian coming from a common root, which is weird. But yeah, Hungarian is all on its own, completely separate from the other European languages in that area, which is fascinating. Also, we have Banu. We have Banu, Vandul, and Xion. Do any of you guys actually follow any of that? I mean, I think it's definitely nice that the linguistic experts have gone and created their own languages in Star Citizen. I know some people have gone like pretty deep into it. I mean, I haven't. Maybe at some point. I don't really have much interest in that, but it does add a lot of depth for people into this game. Click languages are good for your health. In South Africa, the Xhosa tribe use the click, and it's like I guess in the spelling it's an X and H. Was it like Xhosa? Well, we say Xhosa, but to say Xhosa in the African languages, you go Xhosa. There's a click in it. There's plenty of names in South Africa which have a click there. Nkosi is another one. And yes, I can't speak a click language like that, I guess, just for the names. It's fascinating. It's the only... Is there another click language in the world? I don't understand. Hungarian is the hardest European language to learn. Right, because it's not... I mean, my dad can speak Romanian, and when we were in Italy, he can get by with Italian. He understands it. The same works with several languages in there. I mean, I studied Afrikaans in school, so I can understand a bit of Dutch and Flemish, apparently, which makes sense, right? But Hungarian is all on its own with nothing else. If you speak Spanish, you'll understand some Portuguese. Italians will pick up on some words too. But it's, yeah. And the Slavic languages, yeah. If you're Polish, you'll get by with some Slovak or Czech, right? I mean, there's common roots. Yeah, my Xhosa click is spot on. Years of practice. Where to? When we did Zulu in school, you had to know how to pronounce certain things, right? And so they hammered you get the click down properly. Ik hou van jou. Oh, Listic, you're making me blush. Thank you for that. Very, very kind of you. Well, that concludes our tour into the language tree of Europe. Interesting. Iranians are Persian, the Pashto, Kurdish. Yes, that is true. Huh. Okay, where were we? Munching. Here we go.
To fly them somewhere and sell them.
The Reclaimer gameplay is very similar to that of the Vulture, except that it's all done by the claw operator, who is the co-pilot seat.
You may notice that the claw of the Reclaimer will look different. I think the art team did a really good job there.
So we got the request to start looking at the structural salvage feature support. Yeah, the feature team reached out to us and explained to us what they wanted to do and how it was all going to work. And obviously that means that from our point of view, there's a few things we needed to do. It's always had this kind of great big claw underneath it, you know, underslung under the cab. And now was the time that we were going to look at it and kind of make that nice kind of feature of the ship actually function.
Now we have the gameplay defined and redesign or revisualize the claw.
We didn't want to just kind of start from scratch. We wanted to take the essence of the original, but rework it to a way that now made sense with how the actual feature.
To those of you that have the Reclaimer, now we're on the topic of the buffers in there. How much, when he was doing a caterpillar, if you get a caterpillar, can you fit all the scrapping from a caterpillar into the Reclaimer? I mean, what is the limit? 1 caterpillar, 2 caterpillars? Anyone done that? Most of it? I mean, basically I'm asking if you have to come 360 SCUs. If you get a caterpillar, do you have to go dump off, go and sell them? I guess you store it, right? Okay, I have a 2-part question. Does the buffer hold an entire caterpillar? Because I'm guessing it gives you a friend did 3 C2s, so that's quite a lot. The buffer has been reduced, so you have to make 3 runs down. So, I mean, you can basically, your buffer fills up to a point. Then you have to go and pull the boxes out. And then you still have more space, right? It doesn't fill up your hull. There's still space for more boxes, right? You both storerooms. You can store it in the buffer and sell from there and kick out the boxes and store in the cargo bay. You can sell directly out of the buffer? That's pretty good. That is not bad. I did part of a reclaimer today. It was only 18%. That's pretty big.
Works.
I've got a reclaim on buyback. It's 350. I'm tempted. Although I don't want to put fresh money in.
As a whole, one of the things we wanted to do was make sure that the claw was in the player view when you were sat in the operator seat. And because of that, we tried a few different options out with the claw kind of like facing forward originally, and then we kind of had it facing up.
We wanted to have the hand of the claws actually upward facing so that we have it easier accessible by the tractor beam gunners on the reclaimer so they can feed into the hand. But we realized with the updated position that is more forward facing, it makes more sense because we weirdly navigate that the hand is below it, and with the tractor beam it still works.
You will no doubt have noticed that we're no longer calling this feature munching, and that's because we just didn't have the bandwidth to...
No! I'm calling it munching. Am I wrong? I'm not changing. It's too late now. It's too late.
That we're no longer calling this feature munching.
This feature Ming?
And that's because...
Well, listen. It's right there in black and white. They're calling this feature Ming. You can see it, right? Slurping. So it's not called munching. Why?
You will no doubt have noticed that we're no longer calling this feature munching, and that's because we just didn't have the bandwidth to support an actual physical munching action of the claw.
On the original,
it'll always be munching to me. Snorting. It does. It's like, you're right. It is snorting. It's like, here comes the reclaimer. Oh, that's some good C2 right there. Yeah. Oh, that actually did open my sinuses a bit. Oh, there we go.
it was like a claw that would rip things apart. Now the feature isn't working like that.
So now it acts as the field emitter for the resonance and disintegration fields.
You can still start with hull scraping, and we highly encourage you to actually do that so that you get the RMC, which we will increase in value. So it will be worth your time to actually do the extra step. And claw will activate the resonance field or fracture field of the claw, and the claw operator then needs to communicate with the pilot to bring the claw into the position of the target that you want to fracture.
This is such a surprising game loop to me that I didn't think I would have any interest in. But it's I'm appreciating the effort they've put into this now. Like those of you who have a reclaimer, are you doing this solo? When you find a wreck, how long does it take you? I guess, what is your UEC per hour in the salvage? How much in a vulture versus a reclaimer? Assuming solo, how are you doing with UEC per hour? I'm curious. Kerry says, what's up? Let those box spaces work for money. Yeah, Kerry says, I mean, don't they know that you have to go watch YouTube? I mean, you have to go watch internet spaceships. Don't they know? 70,000 an hour doing it the old way. Okay, that's not... that sounds low. Are you talking about the vulture? A friend and I did 22 million. There we go. That's more like it. Ryback. A friend, him, and Ryback did 22 million in 2-3 hours. That sounds high. 250,000 for the Hammerhead mission, full buffer. And Duego, how long did that take? So Ryback's quote there of 22 million in 3 hours, to me, that is a good evening session. You know, a friend go, hey, let's go salvaging after dinner, sit down, make 22 million in the evening. That sounds like a worthwhile evening in money per hour, but it's not balanced. Oh, okay. I could be wrong. Forget that then. It sounds like a lot, but you are doing something. Yeah, so we know there'll be a ton of balancing to come. Once quant is in and there's prices and an economy, that'll balance out. So it could very well be that they just want you to rake in the millions now before the wipe. Just make it feel like it's worth your while. In 2 minutes, if you snort the hull, okay, it's snorting now. I keep on thinking it's munching, but now it's snorting. It's catching. I like it. It'll remain high. I think they feel bad for not being able to provide the munching mechanic. Oh, so it's there. It's like, oh, the mea culpa. I feel bad. Yeah. 70,000 was solo. More crew, quicker money. We'll have to split it. True. But, 22 million. There's balance. No wipe, it's EPTU, but keep it forever, right? Hope to make it part of the gameplay in Pyro. Need the ships to spawn with. Yeah. It's an interesting game loop. I can see that when you have your base and you have ship building, and your ship building will require X amount of material, you can go out and salvage and get the material you need to build that ship. I see that all coming together. Then you can sell the ship you created. See how I see it all fitting in? That's what I think they're going for. Or you find people to basically buy the material from. So, supply and demand. Right. So you build your base. You go, well, you know what? I want to build a landing pad here. Oh, I'm short on X amount of whatever. Grab your vulture. Go salvage whatever. Bring the material back to your base. Build the stuff you need in your base. Are we going to produce ships and sell them? Phobos, they mentioned in the SeasonCon that you will be able to build ships. So before anyone gets excited and goes, oh my god, I'm going to build an Idris, I'm thinking they mean small ships. Maybe you get to build a starter ship, like an Aurora, or you get to build the snub ships. I'm not thinking you can build yourself a Galaxy, or maybe, I don't know. Maybe they'll get to the point where you can produce, you click on the thing, goes produce one Galaxy, and it's going to say, we need X amount of input, and then you spend the next 5 weeks getting your stuff to input to build that Galaxy as part of a game loop. So, possible. It works the way in EVE, right? When you want to build a cap ship, you got to go and mine all the stuff, and eventually it just produces, you spit out a cap ship. So, I don't see that as a impossible thing to do. I just think there might be a limit. Well, no. That is a possible loop. Can you build an Idris? Let's say it will take 3 months to build an Idris, and you have to keep on inputting a certain amount of material, right? Print a ship. Finding a place to stay as long as part of the game loop. CIG has already stated we won't be able to produce full ships except for smaller Snapboy starter ships. They said that, Vertiz? I didn't catch where they said that. I just assumed they made smaller ships. But, look, we know feature creep comes in eventually. So once we've gone to the part where everyone's happily producing starter ships, can they expand that and go, okay, now you can produce fighters, right? Instead of having to go buy the ship from a store, I think it makes an interesting player loop, a part of the economy, that you can go buy the ship from someone who's already made it. And the person who made the ship has spent the last 3 months scraping and mining the materials needed to create that chip. Why not? If I need to go buy a Galaxy, I can go to the store, or I know that KSS has a base and he builds Galaxies, and I can go buy from him. What's the difference if the money goes to him or to a store? Well, unless it's a money sink. Yeah, there's a lot to discuss there in terms of economy. There's money generators and there's money sinks, right? I mean, there's a faucet and a sink. The faucets are basically asteroids, NPC wrecks. Those put money into the system. Money has to come out the system too. So maybe the money coming out the system is going to be where you buy ships from a store. I don't know. Yeah, there's not enough information.
Once the target is in the fracture field of the claw operator will press a button, a timer will run down, and the ship that is affected by it.
Yeah, I saw Bitcoin's running, and all the bulls are coming out, right? Oh my God, crypto's back. Crypto's back in action. What was it? So look, I've had these lines on my chart for months now. You saw my lines, right? This is technically a solid break above. But the time to chase was down here, not up here. This is where you take profits. I mean, it's very bullish. Keep in mind, after Binance CEO was what is the news like? The Binance CEO, CZ, what does he find? There's like find like $4 billion or something. Oh, Do Kwon also. Yeah, we'll get back to the munching in a second. Sorry, the snorting. Here's the bullish argument for crypto, all right? So Terra Luna collapsed. That was a big disaster. He's actually been extradited to the States. He's going to pay the price. Where was the Binance story? Where were you? Here we go. Binance fined $4 billion. Founder pleads guilty. Horrible news. Terrible news for crypto. This is very bad news. Binance is a massive operation. But look what's been happening. So when things are going up on bad news, that's pretty good usually. You'd expect Binance being taken out as a very, very negative thing for the space. But Binance being taken out of action, the CEO, CZ, saying, I made mistakes, responsibility, blah, blah. He's probably going to go to prison. Probably very, very negative. But no, it's good. It's good in the sense that it's cleaning up the space. The crypto needs a lot of cleanup. There's a lot of bull out there, a lot of bad actors out there. And so Binance going down is a necessary step to, I guess, the cleanup. And this kind of action on bad news is typically good, but at the same time, you don't want to chase these runs. You want to buy when everyone's hating it. So that's where I stand on this. I think right now it's just in a point where you're like, well, if you're in, good, stay in. But don't chase it, basically. Now back to our regularly scheduled viewing.
It will break into pieces.
Currently, you're not able to move the claw around, but the remote turrets do have tractor beams on them.
Not only you can hold the objects or rotate the objects with the tractor beams, you can now also pull the objects into the resonance field or into the disintegration field.
The idea is that you use the tractor beams to grab any drifting pieces and move them into the field.
And the next step then is actually converting those pieces that you just created into the resources that you want to gather. And for that, the claw operator will switch into the disintegration.
Become CoffeeZilla. Yeah, look, CoffeeZilla's in the good space for what his content is. There's endless amount of garbage in the space. I do not recommend crypto to anyone. I mean, you know, we're fans of Stellantis. Speaking of, look at it go. What a beauty, right? Never recommend crypto to anyone. It's the worst of the worst when it comes to risk. It's absolutely horrible. Stick with Pfizer and go for Stellantis. Actually, not Pfizer, for reasons we spoke about yesterday. But I do like Stellantis, right?
Integration mode. Again, you press a button, the ship is basically heated up and then converted into a material.
We needed a way of collecting all that material, and that's where we decided to take some inspiration from what we did on the Vulture. Between these kind of big emitters, we were still sucking in all this material, and that material was then being processed. And
This room in the Reclaimer, do you actually see anything changing it, or is it constantly just that? Does anything else happen to it? Where Spacebuck's at? I don't know. Check down below. You should have a bunch of them. Redeem it to make a message or something. Does anything happen in this room when you're actually snorting? Is there a change in material coming in? I'm curious. That's the buffer. No animations yet. Because I mean, I know CIG is all very accurate with their stuff, so I'm guessing that there probably will come something in there.
ground up and kind of sent down to the main ship itself.
And then directly moved into the internal storage of the Reclaimer.
The filler stations in the Reclaimer have been changed as well, because the Reclaimer is such a big ship. And
Look at that storage. Oh, there's also in the front. I didn't realize that. That's right. Huh. I mean, it's obvious now. I just grabbed the boxes from there and threw them back here. I didn't realize the space in the front too. Makes perfect sense. That's a lot of room. I can see how you can make 22 million on that now. Now makes sense.
And having it just one SCU containers for like 360 SCU of space was laborious.
Give me a sec, guys. Doorbell.
To that, we also allow you to create bigger boxes now on the Reclaimer. So it's not only the one SCU boxes that you currently have, but it's 1, 2. We don't have 4, but we have 8 and 16.
Which then you can go about stacking to your heart's content.
We really wanted to reduce the amount of back and forth that you have to do, and we think it's a good solution.
One of the distinctions with the Reclaimer, though, is that it can break apart basically any size target, whereas the Vulture is limited to only up to a certain size of ship.
So currently, anything above, I think it's the Star Runner, can't be fractured by the Vulture, which is something you would need the Reclaimer to fracture. So if you can find one of these big wrecks, obviously there's a lot of material to be gained from this, which means obviously more SCU to be sold at the end, which is vastly more profit. We like to think that it would be more profitable to do this than the Vulture, but obviously the Vulture is still very much convenient if you're a single player who goes around doing single player salvage.
We're still very interested in enhancing the destruction side of structural salvage, more similar to what was originally conceptualized with munching, but we're going to have to wait for Maelstrom to be more fully realized before we can start experimenting with that. So we've done a few things to improve the quality of life of salvage in general. First of all, the Vulture has some interesting features that you can control each of its little salvage arms independently, so that you can hold onto a target with a tractor beam.
Some of the elements that you will have in front of you, the sum of all the pieces that you will have in front of you will be too much for your cargo hold. So what you shouldn't do in that time is actually trigger the disintegration, because every material inside that field will be disintegrated. So material will be lost that way. This is where the tractor beams come in place, because you can move out those objects that would make your internal storage overspill. So you get this nice little gameplay of, I actually pick what I want to grab. We also already in slight update to the crafting that we have in there. So now that we have 2 materials, we adjusted the crafting costs in the filler station. So they are now more realistic, so they are not punishingly expensive anymore. For the future, it will be even more meaningful, because then the material composition will be different. So it's not only construction materials, but it's specific to the parts that you have there. but that is for the far future, so it's not for now.
One of the most prominent quality of life features is the changes to the filler station on both the Vulture and the Reclaimer. They now have the option to set the filler station to auto-eject mode, where it will just repeatedly eject the last selected crate, which lets you rapidly unload the internal storage into cargo boxes as long as you're quick enough at putting them on the cargo grid. Releasing Structural Salvage in 3.22 will give players an opportunity to play it and start giving us feedback on how we can continue to build on it for the future.
Salvage, like its industrial profession cousins, mining and cargo, is an iteratively developed feature that gets its next evolution in the upcoming Alpha 3.22. And if we've learned anything this week, it's that the path is almost
Now on the Reclaimer.
Yeah, that was my neighbor. He's getting married. I'm going to just look after his dog while he is away. What I miss?
So it's not only the 1 SCU boxes that you currently have, but it's 1, 2. We don't have 4, but we have 8 and 16.
Which then you can go about stacking to your heart's content.
We really wanted to reduce the amount of back and forth that you have to do, and we think it's a good solution.
One of the distinctions with the Reclaimer, though, is that it can break apart basically any size target, whereas the Vulture is limited to one of the distinct.
Is this a current mission? Is there a Javelin wreck? Yoga pants are coming. How much would you make? No, hang on. This isn't in the game. Is this? Is that a Nautilus in the background? What is that? What's that ship over here? I hate searching for information. Star says, and there's too much crap out there. Zero contact with most of it. Vertice, I am the all-knowing. What is it that you need to know? That's a hammerhead. It's a busted hammerhead. Oh, is it? No, what's this? Oh, it's missing the front. Oh, I see. Okay, right. Okay, yeah, it's broken. Makes sense. Oh, there's the front piece. I see it now. I was like, oh, that's the Nautilus. No, it's not.
Functions with the Reclaimer, though, is that it can break apart basically any size target, whereas the Vulture is limited to only up to a certain size of ship.
So currently anything above, I think it's the Star Runner, can't be fractured by the Vulture, which is something you would need the Reclaimer to fracture. So if you can find one of these big wrecks, obviously there's a lot of...
No. How much money do you make from an Idris wreck? Anyone done that? Shempasta, hello. Montesta. What? What the hell? Anyone done this in the EPTU? How much money do you make from an Idris wreck? I'm curious.
Material to be gained from this, which means obviously more SCU to be sold at the end, which is vastly more profit. We like to think that it would be more profitable to do this than the Vulture, but obviously the Vulture is still very much convenient if you're a single...
Yeah, Shempasta, the math checks out. Shempasta, official navigator of my streams.
Player who goes around doing single player salvage.
We're still very interested.
C2 gave me roughly 500,000. Didn't even finish before I got 30K. Okay, so that's decent. How much would an Idris give you then? Millions. Oh, and the components, that's right.
Interested in enhancing the destruction side of structural salvage, more similar to what was originally conceptualized with munching, but we're going to have to wait for Maelstrom to be more fully realized before we can start experimenting with that. So we've done a few things to improve the quality of life of salvage in general. First of all, the Vulture has some interesting features that you can control each of its little salvage arms independently. so that you can hold onto a target with a tractor beam.
Some of the elements that you will have in front of you, the sum of all the pieces that you will have in front of you will be too much for your cargo hold.
You know, the Vulture, what's the purpose of the tractor beam? I'm assuming that the scraping, you can switch between scraping and tractor, right? But why do you need to move pieces with a tractor beam as opposed to just flying closer to it? I'm assuming it's part of, well, it's obviously in the game, but what's the purpose of moving the pieces around? I mean, it's a small ship. Can't you just move the ship around? Is it needed or used by? I haven't salvaged enough. Vertice says, I'm trying to find the video quote in Crafting Ships by CIG. It was in SeasonCon in the panel talking about the base building near the end of it. But all he says was you will be able to build small ships, and that was it. There's nothing more that they said at that point in time.
So what you shouldn't do in that time is actually trigger the disintegration, because every material inside that field will be disintegrated. So material will be lost that way. This is where the tractor beams come in place, because you can move out those objects that would make your internal storage overspill. So you get this nice little gameplay of, yeah, I actually pick what I want to grab. We also already in slight update to the crafting that we have in there. So now that we have two materials, we adjusted the crafting costs in the filler station. So they are now more realistic, so they are not punishingly expensive anymore. For the future, it will be even more meaningful, because then like the material composition will be different. So it's not only construction materials, but it's specific to the parts that you have there. But that is for the far future, so it's not for now.
One of the most prominent quality of life features is the changes to the filler station. On both the Vulture and the Reclaimer, they now have the option to set the filler station to auto-eject mode, where it will just repeatedly eject the last selected crate, which lets you rapidly unload the internal storage into cargo boxes as long as you're quick enough at putting them on the cargo grid. Releasing Structural Salvage in 3.22 will give players an opportunity to play it and start giving us feedback on how we can continue to build on it for the future.
Salvage, like its industrial profession cousins, mining and cargo, is an iteratively developed feature that gets its next...
That's not bad. For the current iteration of where Salvage is, it is not a bad place. Excuse me. Still getting over that cough. So many people were sick this past week. Whatever's going around, it's global. I haven't watched, has there been any news? Let's just finish this clip. But has there been any news on this cough that everyone's been suffering from? I know it's been in every country. It's been going around. Where was the link? This one. Yeah, I showed you. This is Andrew from South Africa saying he's sick with it too, or his dad and kids had it. It's global. Has there been anything in the news about that?
Next evolution in the upcoming Alpha 322. And if we've learned anything this week, it's that the path is almost never a straight line. I'm serious. Torsten has been on Spectrum all week providing even newer details than what was available when we filmed. You're gonna wanna check that out. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the process of game development with you. We'll see you all here next week.
Good episode. Good episode. It's White Lung. What is this deal with White Lung? So it's just what? Is there a... walking pneumonia? Yeah. I mean, we're getting over it here, but was definitely a week of a lot of coughing. It's pneumonia caused by bacteria, yeah. So it's not. It's just. Is it nothing? It's nothing new. But why does everyone have it? How's it spreading so aggressively? Yeah, Shampasta. It's if you have a tickle in your throat, it starts like that. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound like it, but It's not new, but why is it spread so aggressively everywhere? We're talking all over North America, all over. Several people I spoke to in Europe had it. A guy in South Africa has it. It's all over the globe at the same time. Do you see Eve released its FPS tech demo for the weekend? No. Hellstorm, what they release? First case in the US so far in Ohio. So if it's in Ohio, yeah. But this seems to be aggressively spreading around the globe. And it's not worth the alarm bells ring? Okay, if you say so. Listic, where are you? First I've heard of it in the UK. It's got to be in the UK. Was it white lung? I mean, white lung is not what it's called. But it's what you get in the x-rays from pneumonia. Now look, you're not going to get pneumonia from it. If you have a weakened immune system, maybe you're susceptible to it. But this started in China about 3 weeks ago. We started seeing reports of it. And it seems to have spread everywhere. Here we go. And Europe saw surging cases. So if it doesn't hit you yet, it's on the way. It's weird. My wife is pretty good when it comes to health. Rarely has issues, but this past week it knocked her on the ass. I had maybe one day I was kind of feeling a bit bad. I took the day off. But otherwise, I was fine also. Netherlands, it's coming your way, Listic. Just wait. Dust 5 on so success a tech demo? Oh, yeah. Let's take a look at that. Where is it? CCP site? What's it called? First Strike?
EVE Online and New Eden is the ultimate sci-fi experience. EVE Online is about the spaceships, and EVE Vanguard is going to be about boots on the ground. We've got these big
EVE always had beautiful graphics, right?
ships that we see, we play with them in the strategic game. What are they like when you get to see them human scale?
We want to kind of bridge the gap from people who are EVE curious into being significant parts of the space opera.
We've been focusing on the atmosphere of the game, making sure it feels like it's already a part of New Eden, and that shooting experience, that it can live up to par with people's expectations.
The Drake. Not Star Citizen Drake. This is the Drake, right? If I remember correctly. It's been many, many years. Great ship. Lots of cannons on it.
There's not much known about the Vanguard as of this moment, and technically they don't really exist in the EVE universe. With the First Strike event, we may see the Deathless making his first attempt at mobilizing a force of his own. We may also see the Deathless run tests on Infomor, while adding to the chaos and disruption already happening in the skies.
With First Strike, you as founders here are coming in on the ground floor. This is our first public test. So you're only going to have a single weapon, and it's going to be in a single environment. There's going to be a lot of things that you can do on the surface of the planet. We built an environment that we want your buy-in. We want to know that it already feels part of that EVE Online New Eden experience.
The sky is literally burning. There's embers all over the place. There's fire on the ground. There's dangerous chemicals leaking out. This was the...
Yeah, edgewise, I think so. For me, I don't remember. When was it? What year are we in right now? 2023? I think I played around 2006 or 7. I played for a year, and that was it. But it is a very impressive game. I wish them nothing but the best success with this. I know Dust was a big screw-up, but hopefully this can redeem them.
The aftermath of a gigantic spaceship crashing into...
Is EVE worth a try? I never played it. It's very, very different to anything you may be playing right now, they call it spreadsheets in space for a reason. So you aren't a person. You're a ship, right? You're controlling a ship. The game is deep. The game is deep. All right. I don't know how to describe it. I think there's you can play for free these days, I think. Give it a shot if it's free. It's definitely interesting, and I think everyone should at least try the game at least once.
The surface of this planet, and it's just totaled the entire area around it. It's 360 degrees chaos. The players are being thrown into that.
So you drop in as your squad, you take contracts coming from NPC factions. That could be salvaging items, could be...
Look, I think visually it's going to be nice. Look, shooters are shooters. This is going to be a generic shooter like any other shooter. Will there be anything special about it? Do you have a gun? Your gun's maybe a bit different. Maybe the sound's a bit different. Maybe the environment's a bit different. How this fits in with the larger game is going to, I guess, what makes or breaks this. For those who are around for the Dust 514 debacle, what broke it? Is it because it wasn't on PC? It was consoles, right? I thought that was not a strange design decision, but I guess they were paid by, was it PlayStation? Who was it that came out with it? But they were obviously paid by the console to do it for that console. And I think that's what the PS3, right? Yeah. So is that what killed it? They were stuck in the contract, right? So that was a strange decision because I remember seeing wow, that's so cool. Like, I want to try this out. But then I don't own a PS3. I'm not going to buy a PS3. When your game is a PC game, what's the point of creating, the auxiliary game to it on a PlayStation? Like, there was a complete disconnect. That was so weird.
Clearing out NPC camps, fixing up parts of the ship to bring it back to life. You will be bumping into enemies, whether it's...
Even if it went to PS4, right? They need the crossover, because the way I would see it is if I play Eve on the PC, but today I feel like doing more of a first-person shooter in Eve. I don't have a PlayStation. I mean, maybe there's a bit of people who do have both, but I don't have a PlayStation. Eve is entirely PC player-based, right? So, Joy, absolutely correct. Their target market should be the existing Eve players, which are PC players. So why the hell would you go make a console game? It made no sense.
Teams have been hard at work for weeks and months to help deliver this vision that we have. Everything from pebbles to massive bowheads, puddles to massive explosions.
Supposed to be contracts in Eve would put the Dust players to do the side work. You have Spaceship players for PC. Right. I mean, that makes sense. But again, you have to appeal to your base. And the base were PC players. Does the PlayStation shooter crowd need a generic shooter? From nowhere. Here's a shooter, it's called Dust, all right? What's so special about it? While you get contracts and do things like, yeah, but who are you appealing to? Creating a generic shooter is risky.
Carefully placing wreckage and rocks to create that Eve feel in the world.
You can expect to hear the world around you being alive with creaks and groans, and you'll hear fires, gravel, explosions, turrets firing at you. Everything has a bespoke bit of audio signature.
We want you, when you come into Vanguard, to feel that this is a real place that existed before you arrived, and it will exist after you've left. That anxiety, that fear, that tension.
Right, exactly. They try to tie in two different games together. They might as well have just said this is a standalone game, has nothing to do with Eve, because there's no one on the PlayStation that's going to go, wow, I'm really excited for this Dust game. It's a shooter. It's going to be so interesting. There's nothing interesting about Dust on its own as a standalone game. Maybe I'm just cynical. Is there? Maybe I'm just old. But whenever some shooter comes out, I go, what's special about it? Oh, the gun model is different. The environment is different. Instead of a jungle, you're in a city. Or instead of in the past, you're in the future. Like, what's so... Shooters to me are shooters. They're just generic. It's very, very difficult genre to break into and be unique in. And there was nothing interesting about Dust to someone who's just coming in as a shooter, right?
Of walking into a real crash site is what we're trying to recreate.
We want to expand the playground that you play in, add more meaningful ways for players to progress and keep playing, the thread that pulls you from session to session, and more reasons to stay in the session for longer, more activities, more risks and rewards, but also more authenticity with the EVE Online experience in that sandbox.
If you are an active Omega player, you will be able to access First Strike and try EVE Vanguard out from 7th of December to 11th of December in a limited time event. And this will be visible to you directly through the EVE launcher starting on December 7th.
It's really important that we get your feedback.
Well, has anyone tried this? If you are playing EVE, can you drop into EVE Vanguard with your same character, or is it like a separate thing? Because that's the other thing about it. If it's connected to the game, I want seamless transition. If I'm flying around in my ship in EVE, and I say, oh, I want to do some FPS stuff now, I should be able to go and just use like the same character. Is that a thing which exists?
We made that promise to you at FanFest that we want to build this game alongside you. This game doesn't achieve the scope, the vision, and the direction that we want this game to achieve without you, the players. Like EVE Online in its early days, it got to where it is in 20 years' time with the community, helping to build that game alongside it. That's why we want to...
Why? Why couldn't they let existing EVE players take the existing character and port that into EVE Vanguard and go, oh, here's your character who's been around for 15 years in EVE. Now you are in this FPS part of the game with the same character. Doesn't it make sense? Is that not something which would just have... That's impossible. It must exist. There must be a bridge between your characters. Why wouldn't they do that? Shouldn't you, as a 15-year EVE vet, say, here's your character, and because you've been in EVE 15 years, you have like better armor or better weapons or something, just encourage you to go play this part of the game? Why don't they? I'd be very surprised if they never considered that.
To bring you on this early, bring you really on the ground floor as founders, generate the hype and excitement and the content with you moving forwards.
We are so appreciative of all of the help that you're going to be giving us as we develop EVE Vanguard, that we will be giving exclusive rewards to players who participate in these events from First Strike and onward.
I would love to be sat here in 20 years' time with EVE Online and say that we're still talking about EVE Vanguard. This game will continue to evolve over months and the years to come. We are super excited to get you in.
Of walking into it.
Well, look, I hope they nail it this time. CCP is a pretty impressive company that's done well for a long time. I'm just curious to know if they want to tie it in, what is the incentive for existing EVE players, the spreadsheet guys, to come down and try this? Because that's the base. Appeal to the base, right? If they completed the walking stations. I was there for that. I was there when they announced the walking stations part the first time. It was so exciting. It's too bad I didn't go there. The point is, it should be interwoven with EVE gameplay. You're right, so they're going to kind of weave it in. But my question was, why don't they? Where is the incentive for the existing EVE players to go play the FPS part of this? I mean, they already have a very dedicated and passionate player base. Now, can they take a small part of it? Can they take 10%, 5% of the existing active players and bring them into this by saying, here's your character, and because you have an existing character, give him some perks, a skin, a better weapon, something. Well, then I'm not a game designer. I don't know. Maybe they have their reasons. Passionate but small? What is the EVE player base? Are they on Steam charts? How is EVE doing these days? They've done pretty well. Yeah, it's still okay. I mean, they're off the highs for the year. 7,000, 8,000 at the highs. I guess this is a more accurate chart. Peaks around 6, troughs around 4,000 online. Average for the past week, 5,000 at the highs, 3,000 at lows. I mean, that's decent for a game that's old, right? It's all about the new players and new money. Right, yeah. Resilient. Yeah, it's a resilient company, that's true. I mean, obviously, they would like this to be higher. I mean, this when you see trends, I mean, this is just a short-term trend for December. Well, let's go for a month. Yeah, look, the highs are around 6,000. The lows are around 3,000. Pretty solid. I mean, needs to be better. Assuming you have 5,000-6,000 dedicated players. Yeah, what kind of money are they making? It's just on Steam. Oh, okay, right. There's Steam isn't the only launcher for them, right? Right. Okay, there's 20,000 active right now. Okay. So this is just the Steam part of it. Got it. Okay. Most PvP MMOs don't do well. They have a lifespan, right? All these MMOs have what's the New World? How's New World doing? I keep on seeing updates for them. New World had a strong start. Everyone can check it out, and now they kind of obviously flattened out. I'm guessing this was a big update they had in October. But before that, 20,000, 22, 25,000, 20,000 at lows. So far this month, 3,000 the highs, 12,000 the lows. You know, that's not horrible. Obviously, they wish it would be better, but New World, I look at them, because I mean, they're using, I was going to say Star Engine. They're using Lumberyard. And I was curious to see how they handled things and how it looked. And it looks okay. But not horrible. Could be better. Anyone here play New World? What's the difference between Eve and Star Citizen? Never played Eve. Shempasta, Eve is a more spreadsheet-focused game that you control the ship. You aren't a person, you're a ship. I don't know, how do you even describe Eve? It's very unique. Yeah. It's PvE heavy. Sorry, PvP heavy, but decent PvE. But the game has a lot of depth, meaning they have an in-game economy which I think rivals that of countries, in real countries. You go mine rocks, and the rocks are going to make things, and then those things get made into materials. Those materials get put into ships, and those things make ships. It's it's a point-and-click adventure for the most part, yeah. Also very much a part of the learning skills. Like you click I don't know if this is still how it works now, but there's skill books, and you click this, you go, I want to learn how to get gunnery number 2, which is going to give you 5% more damage. And you click the button, and then a day later, you've learned a skill. And then you go, well, I want to learn gunnery number 3, and you click it, and then 3 weeks later, you'll get the extra 5%. So the longer you're in the game, the better you'll be, stats-wise anyway, at certain things. So it definitely rewards you and encourages you to be in the game longer. The longer you're in the game, the stronger you become. Oh, the learning curve meme, yeah. It's an insane learning curve. Insane. Planet side. 2. What is PlanetSide 2 doing? Store hub patches, charts. Oh, look at that. They're still doing okay. 400 people on. 1,000 people on. In fact, that's surprising because the one map holds 1,000 people. Are they filling up one map? Is that it? Ah, that's sad. Maybe it's time for a new PlanetSide. Been around for a long time too. 10 years. Check it out. I hope PlanetSide gets a PlanetSide 3. Hit the like button if you're enjoying the stream. Oh, thank you, Smoke. I think I will. I'm enjoying my stream. There we go. Yeah, PlanetSide is, if you haven't tried it, I mean, it's an older game at this point. The graphics are dated, but it's very unique in the sense that you can fit 1,000 people doing first-person combat on the map at the same time. The servers handle it pretty well. So seeing these kind of numbers here of 1,000 people at the lows, I mean, you can have several servers running. That's one server handling 1,000 people. Has there been any mention of a PlanetSide 3 at all? Is that coming? And has there been any talk about the how many people are playing Star Citizen at any moment in time? No, you guys have been good. Everyone's been behaving. You know what that means? When everyone's well behaved. That's right. You're getting something to call. This episode entitled Every Influencer Influencing, a topic I myself am passionate about. As an influential influencer of the highest influential levels of influencing myself. Yoga pants, here we go.
Oh my god, that's so fucking crazy. It just fell from the sky. Hi guys, come unbox this Amazon package with me. So crazy. I know that you don't really give a fuck, and me neither. I just want to show my tits. Oh no, I obviously don't know how to open this. Fuck. Oh, I'm sweating. Oh my god, let's see what's inside. Oh my god, it's just a bunch of paper at the moment. I promise I didn't just get paper. Amazing. I don't know why I'm acting so surprised because I was the one that ordered it. Oh my god, yes, I've got this fucking Snell cream. Amazing.
Good God, I gotta take notes on this. This is what happens, right? So you get a box and you're just gonna start freaking out that there's stuff in the box, but you know you ordered it. I gotta do this. Someone send me a box with papers in it.
And I've got my collagen as well. If you want what I use, click the link. I've got my Amazon shop, so just use that because then I actually get commission from it. So it's actually pretty good if you use it. That's it. That's all for today, folks. See you next time.
I have been influenced. I get it now. So the secret is my shirt needs to be much lower cut, right? You're just going to see a bunch of... Yeah. I get it. I should do some unboxing. Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Right? Krispy Kreme arrives in France. Parisians can't get enough. Really? Who's in France? Anyone?
London/Paris CNN. In a city brimming with bakeries and artisan pastry shops, a red, white and green alien has landed. It goes by the name of Krispy Kreme. Even before the American donut chain opened the doors of its first store in France, in central Paris, at 8 a.m. Wednesday, about 400 customers had lined up on the sidewalk outside. Alexander Maizouet, the Director General of Krispy Kreme, DNUT, France, told CNN.
Interesting. Kenny Prime, thanks for subscribe. I was living in Toronto when Krispy Kreme opened up in my neighborhood. And like this story, there was a massive line around the corner to get the Krispy Kremes. And the hype of it made more people go and try it also. And so I went there to try it out the first time I tried Krispy Kreme. And this was in, those of you may live in Toronto, north of Highway 7. What's the mall? I forget the mall. Anyway, it was there. And I got a box, and I ate all the donuts in the box, and I go, that was delicious, and it's the last time I'm going to eat a box of donuts ever myself. And I never went back. And about a year or two later, Krispy Kreme shut down. Krispy Kreme shut down because it just wasn't doing business. So I wonder. Also, Canadians are used to their Tim Hortons and Dunkin' Donuts, I guess, which is weird because I prefer Krispy Kreme myself. But Krispy Kreme shut down because they weren't busy enough, because Canadians like, yeah, we tried it, and now we're going back to Tim Hortons. I wonder if it's going to be the same story here. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't see too many Parisians lining up for donuts very often. I mean, the Krispy Kremes are iconic. I mean, I lived in North Carolina, home of Krispy Kreme. And I do like them, but not often enough to support a store to make it worthwhile for them. I'll get them maybe once every couple of months, once every 6 months, right? The French have croissants. Well, yeah. So I think I want to check back on this in about 6 months or a year. And if this Krispy Kreme location is open, I'll be impressed. I think it's a novelty thing. I don't know if the French are into donuts enough to keep the business running. We'll see. We'll see about that. What's up otherwise? Any interesting news happening anywhere? Are we caught up on Star Citizen? CitizenCon second day preview? Oh, wait, talking about base
Ladies and
building.
gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the person who forgot to create himself an intro, Disco Lando! Woo-hoo! He also had caffeine in the last 10 minutes. Welcome to CitizenCon Day 2, everybody!
I don't know if that's caffeine hitting. I don't know if caffeine has this kind of effect.
Are you pumped? Are you psyched?
Moonshadow, you just arrived now? Yeah, you missed yoga pants. We did yoga pants already. I don't know if we can go back for a second. You guys haven't been well behaved enough to get a second dose of yoga pants.
Have you eaten 2 dogs? Get in your seats. It's about to start, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Day 2. I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Up first, character advancement with Ian, Sean, Forrest, Andre. Give it up. Bone, start the show.
These environments look good. This looks good. Is this just the 4K version of what they... I mean, this came out 3 hours ago. Well, it's the 4K version, I guess.
Now let's talk about something different. Now we're going to talk about some of the gangs in Star Citizen. So, Ninetales have been one of the main gangs in the game.
Was
so
this the
far,
one that deals with the...
over 105 million
shipbuilding issue
have been taken out by you guys.
I don't know.
So you guys have been busy. Great job. All right. So it was like, all right, now we're going to need to introduce a few more factions to the game, okay? So the first faction we're going to talk about is Rough and Ready.
We've seen this before. There's nothing interesting there. What else is happening in the world? Where haven't we gone today? We haven't visited Reddit and we haven't visited Spectrum. Let's go take a look. Patch 322. Quality of life. What you got? I'm smelling coffee. I think Ninja Girl's making more coffee. Alpha patch 322. Quality of life. This is a decent patch, you know. It is looking pretty good.
In our Patch Watch series, we highlight upcoming features, improvements, and fixes not presented on the public roadmap. This time, as we approach the release of Star Citizen Alpha 3.22, we are diving into upcoming quality of life improvements. As always, thanks for your feedback that made many of these possible. We'll publish a second Patch Watch next week, focusing on system design, vehicles, and more.
Posted today at 7:30 a.m. We have updates to tractor and towing. Several UI positional changes. Fixed NPCs falling through stairs and floors of underground facilities. That's bunkers are operational now. That's good to know. Because bunkers have been balked for a while. Okay, we can do some bunker runs again. Putting further fixes help resolve wheeled ground vehicles vibrating with stationary in Atmo. Yes. The Storm was doing that. It was bouncing all the time. So I guess the Storm is working now. Good. Good.
Introduction of procedural weapon aim recoil to FPS combat. With this update, we have overhauled the recoil of the majority of the weapons to use the new and improved procedural recoil tool shown at CitizenCon. This will improve the diversity of the weapon sandbox, allowing each weapon to fulfill a more specific and niche role whilst allowing for more intense visual recoil. Overall, you will find greater variety in how weapons play and feel, including weapons having consistent recoil patterns and the removal of ads spread.
Recoil seems to have been removed. I don't mind a bit of recoil. I tried out the Demico yesterday and it was like pinpoint accurate under full automatic fire. I don't want to say I don't like it. I mean, I like it, but it feels like the recoil has been dumbed down a lot.
The Arclight pistol has had a full rework and is now a burst pistol with an alt single fire mode. The LH86 pistol is now fully automatic.
I don't know about full automatic. I'm not a fan of full automatic pistols in games. I think I think pistols should be one-shot high alpha weapons. But okay, still try it out.
Demenco, S71, and P4AR have all been reworked to increase their fire rates. Lumen V's burst delay has been decreased.
The P4AR I don't think needed a fire rate increase, but I'll take it. Most commonly used weapon in the bunkers, right?
Forces have been tweaked across a range of weapons to make knockdowns only occur in situations where it's felt they should occur. This should appear as an overall reduction in staggers and knockdowns. Balancing to sniper rifles to avoid players in heavy armor being one-shot when hit by a sniper rifle while still allowing this to happen to players wearing medium armor.
Balancing to sniper rifles to avoid players in heavy armor being one-shot. I don't know if I agree with that. I think you should be able to be one-shot if someone... I don't know. Typically, sniper rifles should one-shot you. But again, I mean, if this is their stats and they're seeing it's happening too often and they want to dumb it down, then maybe. But, I mean, all this does is make you want to wear a heavy helmet on your lighter armor, maybe, right? It's possibly what they'll do.
This is, overall, the first major pass toward a new TTK goal. The FPS team is eager to hear feedback about how you feel about the current value.
Darge, what you saying?
Adjustments to allow for more consistent firefights and times. Removed increased stamina costs on limb HP pools being low. Removed movement speed penalty on limb HP pools being low. Medical pens will now fully heal players.
That's the exact opposite of what I expected to experience. Allow for more consistent firefights and times. Removed increased stamina costs on limb HP pools. Removed movement speed penalty on limb pools. Medical pens will now fully heal players. I'm trying to think. Did medical pens only heal X amount? What was it? How much did medical pens heal before? Was depending on your damage though. But was it set to like 50%? I don't recall. I just used the med gun mostly. So are people happy with these changes? I wear a heavy helmet and medium armor. Yeah. I mean, why would you want to wear light helmet or medium helmet if it meant you're going to get one-shotted? So all they're saying now is if you don't want to be one-shotted, just wear your heavy helmet with everything else. Which, I mean, it's a fashion travesty. But, okay. I mean, they got the stats to figure it out. They'll figure it out. What else has been happening? Vanduul size. Oh, Heidi. Yeah, she's building that Vanduul model. That looks good. That's nuts. Look what she's got. They got the Iron Man one. And she's got the Iron Man Thanos glove. Oh, that's crazy. What a nerd. I love that. She's such a nerd. Awesome. Awesome.
Oh, j'ai touché. Oh, j'ai pris cher. Oula, ça pique. Ça pique.
Looks like he was hit by missiles.
J'ai crevé, je crois.
He's gone to a blind blackout spin.
À ça, mon gars.
And he survived it. Let's see. I'm invested now. Let's see how he does. Okay, he wakes up. He's getting out of the chair. Why would you get out the chair though? Shouldn't you pull your ship out of a spin unless you've lost your engines? Yeeted himself out. Okay, that was worth it. And he survived the landing. Had his gun ready to go.
J'ai survécu. J'ai putain de survécu, mec.
That was impressive.
J'ai survécu à mon crash.
That was good.
J'ai pu m'éjecter, attends.
That was good. Yeah. Stuck NPCs. Yeah. Oh, you know what? We can do bunkers again. That looks good. Nice. Okay, I think we're up to speed on Star Citizen related news. What else is happening in the world while we've been doing this? Anything interesting? White Lung. Besides White Lung. My most anticipated gameplay Star Citizen Red Chair base building. Yeah, we just spoke about that now. And shipbuilding. But it's definitely going to be a loop. A good game loop. That will take this game to places that we haven't thought it could be. What does Jared stand for? Tomatoes. Oh, what happened with Space Tomatoes' place? Didn't he say that the his most recent place in Turkey got hit by rain and his room was flooded out? They said they lost some equipment. What happened with that? Anyone follow his story? Captain Richard, what's going on with him?
Oh no, this just seems so wrong. Yeah, putting an Imperial Guard helmet on a Sister of Battle. Oh, that just feels so wrong. Oh, yuck. Ugh. I mean, so
I don't know enough about Warhammer to appreciate that, but I'm assuming it's pretty funny. Oh, did you guys see this? There is the ever rare Saber Ravens that are probably all gone at this point, except Intel has a bunch of them. Intel, obviously being the partner that they did this with, giving away a Saber Raven bundle. You don't see Saber Ravens being given away too often. So, yeah, they still exist and still in there. 1,000 people are chasing this. 1,000 responses to it. Yeah. Hey, there's Andrew. What's up? Soul Citizens, what are you guys doing?
Times 10, and if it's my armor loadout, I have it so that it's multiplied.
And where's Alex Jones? Did you guys say Alex Jones is back on Twitter? Alex Twitter? No. Alex Jones? Is he back? Well, I guess he's there. Look at that guy. That's what an alpha male looks like. That is.
When you get him in front of an outhouse in the woods, he doesn't seem so dangerous.
Tucker and Alex.
Fancy outhouse. We have a ruling class in the United States.
Okay, we're not going to watch Tucker Carlson, but is he back on Twitter? No. Oh, there was an interview. How about much letting Alex Jones back on X and making the machine? Yeah, I don't remember why he was removed from Twitter in the first place, but yeah, I don't think I miss him. I'm not going to be crying for him to come back either, but I'll look at that story a bit later and figure out what's going on there. But anyway, guys, that concludes our morning stream for today. Thank you for joining me. We covered some interesting, fascinating points. STLA is still holding up okay. The Arastra we spoke about yesterday. Oh, we never hit on oil. You know what? We'll do Mr. Global another day. But this is he's an excellent, he's in the oil and gas industry. And I feel he is like the premier luminary for oil and gas information on social media. But we'll get to Mr. Global in another stream. We'll do that. Krispy Kreme, we covered. Nicole, we did. Awesome. And that concludes it. Well, ladies and gents, I'm going to grab my lunch. But thank you for joining me for my morning stream of consciousness. Let's see if Yoga Pants Girl is on. We'll drop you over there. And no. I guess she's not streaming yet. Fascinating. Huh. But speaking of Space Tomato, let me toss you over to Mr. Space Tomato himself. And I'll grab myself some lunch. Thank you for joining me. It's been a wonderful week. For those of you who may be sick, feel better soon. Space Tomato Gaming. And if you have a cough, stay in bed, have some chicken soup, get some Buckley's. And I will see you guys Monday morning. You know what? We'll do some oil and gas news on Monday. I think that's a good idea, right? Have yourself a wonderful weekend. Thank you for a wonderful week. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Actually, you know what? I might be around tomorrow. Watch for a weekend stream. We may do it. But send my regards to Mr. Tomato. Have yourself a wonderful day. I'll catch you later. Let's go. I'm starving. What's for lunch? I'm not sure. We'll have to make something right now. What are you guys having? Shrimp pasta, take care. Smoke Clouds, take care. Good seeing you. Pappy, KSS, thank you. Death Factor, Doc, Moonshadow, and Kenny Prime, thanks for subscribed.